Okay, hello again. My name's Natalie. I'm doing another vlog. I'm gonna post it. Thank you for watching it if you watched my vlog last week. Um, Trying all week to figure out what I was going to talk about, and I'm really not too sure. I was kind of thinking about going in between either talking about how my sexuality has changed, which would probably get a ton of viewers, or talking about coming out, which would also get a ton of viewers. But I don't know. The coming out process kind of sucks, and well, there's a story about that. My grandma 5 weeks ago wrote me a letter. I thought she already knew. It was so your this is this what this cousin doing, this what this cousin doing, and what about you? And keep in mind, I'm very open-minded. It's like, okay, Grandma, I'll tell you. So I spent a week writing a letter, and she sent me another letter um, with a self-addressed envelope for me to send her back. So I wrote her back. It was one page, and I didn't go into a whole lot of detail about emotion or anything. It was just like, this is what I'm doing. It's what I have been doing, and I kind of told her how my mother reacted. My mother reacted terribly, by the way. My mother told me I was bipolar, obsessive compulsive, that I made her sick. Lots and lots of horrible things, none of which are true. I just happen to be transsexual, and that's hard for people to accept. Um, but it was hard for me to accept it. Anyway, I'm kind of a litmus test, I guess, because I think my family, they think they're really liberal and really accepting, and this is really hard for them. And they haven't written me back yet. So I guess I just did something or other. Anyway, they haven't written me back yet. I don't know how they're going to react. But apparently, I was talking to my mother on Friday night, and apparently, they have decided that they're not going to disown me. So that's a plus, I guess. They're coming around. I am scared because and well, they all live in another state, and I don't really see them much. I'm scared that I'm going to go visit my family, and they're going to be embarrassed. We'll go out as a family somewhere, and they'll be embarrassed about how I dress or how I act, and they're going to be more self-conscious about me being who I am than I am. And maybe that's unfair, but that's kind of what I'm scared of. Then the other thing, the other thing I was thinking about talking about is talking about how my sexuality has changed since I started hormones, because it has. I'm still into women, although, when I think about it, like, I kind of really, before hormones, I kind of just wasn't really that interested in sex. And I think the biggest change is that now I'm a lot more interested in sex. So, and I don't know, before it was kind of something I didn't really understand why people found it enjoyable. And I guess I'm thinking it was just because, my body to me was just really disgusting, and it's less so now. Like, like I have boobies, and I really like them. Um, I really like them a lot, actually. And I'm sitting over here eating something or other. There's her hand again. Um, but anyway, I don't want to go on and on and on and on about that either. And then I was walking over here to where I do my vlog. I'm doing it at Vi's apartment because I don't have internet at home, and I'm not very computer savvy. I'm good at talking about myself, but as far as figuring out how to put all this stuff together, that is not me. Um, so I was thinking, maybe like not, along the lines of last week's video, like kind of what it feels like to be trans, or at least before you transition, and maybe also in the thought that some of my family is actually watching this, that maybe I'd be able to say some things that I probably wouldn't say otherwise. Like, like my mother, when I came out to her, it was terrible, and I told you about that. And she told me, "Oh, I've watched you cycle. Now, obviously, you don't start on hormones without seeing therapists, and I'm not bipolar, and I didn't think I was. But but I think like being transgendered, I can see how it kind of can look cyclical because it's like you feel it really intense and then you rationalize it and you come up with some, oh, I can't be transgendered because blank. Like I can't be transgendered because I really am in love with this girl. I can't be transgendered, well, and then you're able to rationalize it away for a little while, and then it comes back, and you go through this like cycle, and it comes back more intense, and it's harder and harder to rationalize it. And I don't know whether the feelings get more intense or whether you feel them more, or if that's even some, or you notice them more, or if that's maybe that's the same thing. But I kind of am convinced that if you're transsexual, either you eventually do get treatment, or or, or it kills you at some point. Like, I was never suicidal or anything like that. Like, I just wasn't. But like, kind of, I personally think, and this is just an opinion, but I think Michael Jackson was probably transgendered, and I think it killed him or his inability to get treatment for it. And I kind of think that's eventually either you seek treatment or it kills you, and that is where I am now. And anyway, this has been 7 minutes. And oh, one thing I want to I do want to talk about, which is really interesting, because this is the first time I've ever heard myself or seen myself, or watching the video last week was the first time I ever heard myself and saw myself. And I was talking to all my friends, actually. I think it's really interesting because, well, my mannerisms are a lot more feminine than I thought they were. And it kind of makes sense to me why people, because I think my whole life people kind of read me as transgendered. Like every time I was interested in a girl, um, she was like, oh well, I can't be with you because you're gay. And I didn't think I was exactly effeminate. I wasn't effeminate as a guy.
No, I
No,
don't think so.
no, like I really wasn't effeminate as a guy. Like I didn't come across like that. But I can see like some people who I've met since I've started transition, like, oh well, you must have been a really effeminate guy. And it's like, well, anyway, watching the video last week, I can see how they would think that because my mannerisms are a lot more feminine than I thought they were. My voice, my voice, I sound like a tranny, but but whatever. That's what I am. Um, and it's not that bad. My voice doesn't get me read terribly too much, or maybe it does, and people are just polite enough not to say anything. Um, so so that is something that's really interesting. And anyway, I guess I will stop this video now, and I'll watch it again, and I'll post it, and if I like it, then that'll be good.